people who followed me back to my neighborhood. He recommended that I wear a ballistic vest whenever I feel necessary.
When somebody's at my house, when somebody's looking at me come from my porch, when somebody knows my routine, when they know I have a dog and they don't live around here, that makes me think I need protection.
Just the other day, I got a message. Somebody sent me an article about a shooting and said, coming soon to a home near you.
If you watched the broadcast or cable networks this morning, you'd think we were close to a revolution in America. Violence could occur at any moment against poll workers that would then sweep us into civil war. Thank God the Justice Department is monitoring threats closely. Blah, 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 blah. There's not going to be a civil war. There won't be mass bloodshed in the streets. It is, in fact, all going to be okay. Colby Hall is here, founding editor at Mediaite and on balance resident philosopher. What is this sort of obsession with things that are extraordinarily rare and certainly not on the minds of most voters?
Well, I think what happens very often is people forget that they're supposed to be doing reporting, and what they do is they create a narrative that they've seen in other media outlets, and then they cherry pick evidence to support that, right? They then say, like, well, I believe that there's all this huge threat of violence, so let me go find that. And of course, if you look for something, you can find it and prove your point. That doesn't mean that it's actually sort of a widespread thought. And it's not just political violence. That's something that occurs across the political spectrum. I take the New York City subway every day with 4 million other New Yorkers. I never see a crime. I feel safe. But if you watch some cable news outlets, you would think that I'm crazy to do that because crime is so rampant. And the truth of the matter is the current landscape rewards the extremist behavior. People tune in to that division. And unfortunately, the reasonable, safe approach that most people want to hear, it gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, we were seeing the pictures of Maricopa County where there were a couple of guys who showed up in camo gear. And it was blown out. It was blown up to be that this was the coming revolution and people would not be able to drop off ballots because they're worried they were going to get shot. And this somehow was undermining all democracy in America. It wasn't. I thought this was interesting from this weekend. To your point of sort of first comes the narrative, then comes the story. On CNN, the anchor almost couldn't believe that the threats were generally coming equally from left and right. Take a listen.
One of the things we saw in 2020 was in states where there were persistent claims, unfounded claims of election fraud, local officials of both parties saw greater numbers of threats and harassment. You know, those numbers came back down. It's one reason why we feel more confident this year.
At some point, does it become a self-fulfilling prophecy?
100%. That's exactly what it is. And again, you know, by the way, there are political attacks. I mean, the thing that we saw in San Francisco with Paul Pelosi, there are isolated instances, and I by no means don't want to dismiss that because things are tense, more tense than usual because, of course, the midterms are tomorrow. However, it doesn't mean that every poll watcher is about to be attacked. And I think that there is a certain sort of mindset that people are almost not looking to be victims, but they're just almost a little bit too tense and aware of things, and therefore they see things that are just normal interactions as possible threats.
Yeah, and suddenly if you're the poll worker who says, oh, I'm so scared that I was told that if I felt uncomfortable, I could wear a bulletproof vest, suddenly you're now on ABC News as a featured person, whereas before you were just a poll worker who was in wherever, no disrespect, but you're not an international news celebrity. The flip side of this is that there are going to be, and we know this historically, issues with ballots in various places. CNN reporting about 3,400 ballots in Pennsylvania who may not be counted because they are not complete ballots and without dates. Take a listen.
Any undated or ballots that were undated or not dated correctly cannot be counted. So as a result, you have a lot of folks wondering, will my vote be counted? And so what the city commissioner's office did was they printed out a list of some 3,400 people whose names are on these ballots and basically who have said your ballot will not be counted.
Shouldn't not counting ballots that aren't complete be seen as a good thing? Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.